In this video, we will cover the first chapter of the book Spring Boot Quick Start. In this chapter, we will show how to create a Spring Boot application using IntelliJ IDE. In order to do so, we have to install Java and IntelliJ. All the tutorials in this book will be created using IntelliJ, but you can also use any other IDE like Eclipse. It's just that in those other IDEs, some common settings and usage will differ. So we need to have Java by installing Java Development Kit, and we need to have IntelliJ. So this is the only two things that we need to install. We can even skip this step when we install Java, because during installation of IntelliJ, if there is no Java installed on the system, IntelliJ will install it. So we will just quickly go through this chapter, which explains how to install Java separately. To install Java, you just need to follow this URL. Once there, you should click on the JDK download and then choose the installation which you want to download, either for macOS or for Windows. In our case, we will be doing all the tutorials on Windows, so we will be downloading this file executable. Once you select executable that you want to download, you have to accept the license agreement and then click on this big green button to actually download the executable file, which contains Java installation. After that, simply execute the downloaded file and follow instructions. This will install Java on your system, and it will also automatically set all the needed environment variables. After that, you can install IntelliJ. IntelliJ is an integrated development environment similar to Eclipse, which allows you to create different types of applications. For this book, we will be using IntelliJ to create Spring Boot web applications. So in order to install IntelliJ, we need to follow these 4 steps. That means we need to download IntelliJ, install it. When we first run IntelliJ, we can then choose to download and install Java, and then we have to go through a very short customization of IntelliJ once we start it again. So in order to download IntelliJ, you just need to follow this link. After that, go to the download tab and then choose which of 2 versions of IntelliJ you would like to download. So there is a ultimate version, which is a paid version with a 30-day trial, and there is a free community version. If you can, I would advise you to download the Ultimate Edition, because it will allow you to create your Spring Boot application a little bit easier, but you can also opt out or choose Community Edition, and we will show how to create Spring Boot application with both of them. So once you have downloaded the executable for Ultimate or executable for Community Edition, simply start that file in order to install IntelliJ. Installation is straightforward, so you just run the installation program and then click next and finish if you want to use default options like where to install it. And that's it. After the IntelliJ has been installed, once you start it, you will be asked, you can start it, and then you click on the new project. And if you select the Java, you have to either select an existing software development kit, in other words, an existing Java installation, or you can tell IntelliJ to download Java. So if we decide to download Java, IntelliJ will download it and install it, and then you can work with that version. After that, we can again start IntelliJ, and the first time we start it, we will be asked to select to use either light or dark theme. So in this case, I have chosen to use the light theme. After that, you can press next default plugins, next feature plugins, and then start using IntelliJ in order to keep not install any additional plugins. So now we have covered this chapter 1.1, in which we have installed Java, and we have also successfully installed IntelliJ and connected IntelliJ with Java so that IntelliJ can find Java installation and use it during your development. So now we will show how to create our first project with IntelliJ. Now, the way to create a Spring Boot project differs based on which type of IntelliJ edition you are using. So if you are using Community Edition, a process will be a little bit more complicated, and if you use Ultimate Edition, it will be more straightforward. So when using Community Edition, in order to create Spring Boot project, you need to go to this website, and then where you can specify some parameters of your projects and select so-called Spring Boot starters, so components which you are planning to use in your project. Then you can download your project as a zip file and use this zip file to import it into IntelliJ Community Edition, and then IntelliJ will create a Spring Boot project from the downloaded zip file. When using Ultimate Edition, procedure is straightforward because you can do all these steps from within IntelliJ. In other words, you don't have to go to this website because IntelliJ will actually call it in the background and do everything that is needed automatically. So this was just a short overview of differences between creating Spring Boot project with Community Edition and Ultimate Edition. And now we will show exactly how this is done in both of these cases. So first we will show how to create a Spring Boot project by using free Community Edition. So as we have already mentioned, in order to do so, first we have to visit this website, which will allow us to specify some parameters of our Spring Boot project, download the project as a zip file, and then use this zip file to import the project into IntelliJ. So first you can go to this website, and once there you will see following web application. So most of these options can be set as they are, and the only thing that you actually have to change and customize are group and artifact. For group, you should enter something unique, and usually this is your domain name. So in my case, it is com/ivaronline. And then here under artifact, you should enter the name of your Spring Boot project. In this case, the name is just demo. So this was the left side. On the right side, you have ability to select different Spring Boot starters, or in other words, dependencies. These are components that will be included into your Spring Boot project depending on what you want your project to do. So in this case, we have selected 3 dependencies: Spring Web, which allows us to create endpoints or for our application to be available over the internet. And we have also selected H2 database because we want our application to have H2 database, and we have selected Spring Data JPA, which is a framework which we can use to communicate with database. So once you have defined group and artifact and selected Spring Boot starters that you need, you can click on generate, project which will generate this zip file and download it into your download directory. Once it is downloaded, you should extract demo zip because we would need later an access to POM XML file in order to import this project into IntelliJ. Now, dependencies or Spring Boot starters that you select here, you can do it at this step, but at any point later during the project development, you can easily add new dependencies inside your POM XML Maven file. So this really isn't absolutely necessary. It is just a convenience to get your project started faster. Now that we have downloaded this demo zip, which contains our generated Spring Boot application, in order to import this project into IntelliJ, we need to start IntelliJ and then go to File, New, Project from existing source. And then we have to select POM XML that was extracted from a demo zip file which we have downloaded, and then we click OK. This will allow IntelliJ to use the project configuration within your demo project, and it will create a Spring Boot project inside. This will create a Spring Boot project inside IntelliJ. And this is how the project would look like. So the main part of the project is so this is the package, and under this package you will have your Java classes, and this is how initially a Java class looks by default. And since this is a Maven project, you will also have this POM XML file, and this file will contain all the dependencies that we have selected in the previous step when we went to this web page. So on this web page, by selecting these dependencies, we are actually inserting these dependencies into this POM XML file, and then Maven uses this POM XML file to download the necessary Java classes as defined by these dependencies. So this is how you would create a Spring Boot project using free community edition. Basically, you have to configure a project on this website and then import the downloaded zip file. Now we will cover how to do the same thing, create Spring Boot application by using IntelliJ Ultimate Edition, which is a paid version of IntelliJ. This process is a bit simpler because everything can be done within the IntelliJ IDE and we don't have to visit that page. So just start IntelliJ and then go to File, New Project, and then select Spring Initializer as a type of project that you would like to create. Then simply click Next, and then specifies again group and artifact. In previous step we were specifying that on that web page, but here we can do that within the IntelliJ and also specify the name of your project, and that's it, just these two things, and then click Next. And on the next step you can now select those Spring Boot starters or dependencies just like we did before. So we have a Spring Web as in the previous example, and under SQL we have selected Spring Data JPA and H2 database. Once all the dependencies have been selected, you can click Next, select the location where you want the project to be created, and then click Next. And this will create exactly the same project as it was created in the previous step. So we have our Java classes under this package, and this is our default main Java class. And we also have POM XML containing all the dependencies that we have selected as Spring Boot starters. So now we have seen how to create a Spring Boot project by using either free Community Edition or paid Ultimate Edition. Now that we have our project created within IntelliJ, in this last tutorial for this video, we will show how to run this application that we have created. So in order to see some results, when we run the application, we will add this line to the main Java class that was created. So this is this line here. So after adding this line, in order to run the application, we just need to press this green arrow. And this green arrow will then run this demo application run configuration that was created by IntelliJ while creating the project. And this configuration will execute and run our project. And then in the console below here, we can see the output of our application, which in this case is to simply print out this string. So this concludes the video in which we have covered Quick Start, which shows how to install Java, how to install IntelliJ IDE, how to create Spring Boot project with IntelliJ either free Community Edition or paid Ultimate Edition. And we have also covered how to run the application, how to execute this project that was created.